Thanksgiving week. Everybody excited about the holidays? Thank you, Pastor Casey. Hey, a little holiday humor. Do you know what ringtone a turkey has on its phone? Wing, wing. Come on. You may say you hate that, but you're going to use that joke. You'll use it at some point. Well, it only gets worse from here. One day, these young turkeys got into trouble at school. Candace, I feel like you're going to appreciate this joke. And Mama Turkey was called in to deal with this issue. So Mama Turkey walks into the principal's office with her young children turkeys sitting there. And she looks at those children turkeys of hers and says, if your father could see you now, he'd be rolling in his gravy. Let's move on. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. I won't be here next week. I sort of say I'll be here on. So, hey, but no, welcome. There was a Boston consultant that was working with some college graduates a few years back. Took all these college graduates, sat them down, and began to talk to them. And he started out with this one question. He said, hey, there is one word that is used to describe the workforce of this emerging generation, and it begins with an E. Can you tell me what that word is? And they all began, hey, energetic, exceptional, excellent. And they began to list all these words to describe the current workforce or the generational workforce that started with E. After they had listed them all, the professor looked at them and said, actually, the number one word most commonly used to describe this generation is entitled. Entitled. We have created not just a generation, but a culture that lives with an entitled mindset. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope to see you guys next week. No. A culture, thank you, that feels like everything is owed to them. And understand, I'm not just talking about young people, but a generation, a culture where everything is owed to them. They deserve everything. How did we get here? Well, one study I read gave basically 3 reasons why we're at where we're at with this culture, this mindset of entitlement. The first one was this. He said, we risk too little. For those around my age, 40, shouldn't have laughed at that at all. For those around my age, chances are you walked to school. Anybody walked to school growing up? Yeah. For some of you, it was 7 miles through the snow one way, barefooted. Come on, we heard those stories. So chances are you know what it's like to play outside. There was only one rule. What was that rule? When the lights go, when it gets dark, be back at home. That was our rule. No, we didn't have cell phones. Now, we didn't make some of the smartest decisions, but we took risk. We lived with risk. In fact, I remember one time, me and my cousin Coy, we got home from church one Sunday afternoon, and we decided, hey, we could make a hang glider. We found some wood that was laying around. We found one of my mom's old sheets. We think it was old. And we put it on there. And so my cousin's like, hey, you want to go first or me? I was like, you go first. He jumps off this hill by our house. We spent the rest of the afternoon at the ER. No, that is a true story. But we took risk. I mean, we knew what it was. Who grew up when you didn't wear seatbelts? Yeah. You know why we didn't wear seatbelts? We didn't need a seatbelt. We were sitting in the front seat, and if we came to an abrupt stop, Mom, that stopped anything and everything. Nothing was breaking through that. We didn't have seatbelts growing up. We took risks growing up. Now, again, I'm not saying we were the smartest kids, but we took risk. We may have sustained some injuries, but we took risk. Now we've tried to eliminate any kind of risk from happening. I mean, playgrounds when I was growing up. We've eliminated a lot of the best things that were on a playground. Anybody remember merry-go-rounds? Hey, here's how. Listen, you put 8 people on there. You get 2 people spinning it. And the way you decided who the winner was the last one that was able to hang on, while everybody else got through 20 feet out through there in the dirt. Anybody remember jungle gyms and where you would hang? And anybody remember those when swings were really tall and you could get a good swing and then just launch yourself? But we've eliminated those things. I think, personally, they need to bring back dodgeball in school. Remember that? Listen, you can take a ball to the head and just get up and go another round. Let's go. But we've eliminated risk. We've eliminated anything that might cause harm. And again, I'm not saying we should go back to some of those things, but I believe there is a balance between that, being crazy, and putting a bicycle helmet on, knee pads, elbow pads, just to send them out to check the mail. There's a balance. We risk too little. The second thing the article said is, we rescue too quickly. It said this: kids get into trouble, parents bail them out. And they said it's one thing to do it once or twice, but the problem is parents keep doing it over and over, and in the process, listen, the child learns this: there are no real consequences to their actions. Can I tell you my mom and dad's response when I got in trouble at school? Teacher called them. Hey, Mr. Goins, Kelly's done this again. Bust his tail. And then you tell him this, after you've paddled him, when he gets home from school, I'm going to do it again. And you know what they would do? That teacher would take me out in the hallway, give me a paddling, and you know what it'll help me learn? There are consequences to stupid things I do. Now a teacher cannot even look wrong at a kid without having a parent showing up and barking in their face and getting all in their face. We rescue too quickly. Come on. I don't think the young people are going to like this as much as the adults are, this message. We rescue too quickly. There's a great example of this in the Bible of not rescuing quickly. And I'm actually going to talk about this in more, but the prodigal son. When the prodigal son decided he wanted to leave home and take off, what did his dad not do? Go after him, rescue him. You know what he allowed his son to do? Go find out there are consequences to thinking you can do it on your own, because he knew the son will eventually say, you know what? It's better back home. I'm ready to repent and go back home to my dad. He did not rescue too early. One article said this: by protecting the future generation from the natural consequences of bad decisions, we've handicapped them. We've handicapped them. We're trying to protect them from something that will actually help them in the long run. And the third thing it said, we reward too often. In other words, we give them something they never earned or deserve. Anybody remember when you actually had to win something to get a trophy? Come on. I mean, you actually had to be good or be part of a good team to get a trophy. Nowadays, you just sign up and show up. Doesn't matter what you don't even have to participate, and you get a trophy. Where are the days when we taught our kids, hey, you have to do something you have to earn things. You have to earn these things. We're conditioning a generation that they are entitled to things they never earned. We get them those expensive shoes because, hey, everybody at school has them and we don't want them to feel left out. We get them those expensive jeans, that new iPhone, and I could go on. And we get them all these things, none of which they've worked for. No chores at home, no after-school jobs, nothing they've worked for, and I get it. I gave my kids things they never earned or didn't work for. But I think we have done more harm than good by making them believe that everything in life comes easy, when actually it does not come easy. Here's what we've essentially done. Instead of creating a culture that will sustain a kid, we've created a culture that makes them believe it's all about their happiness. We want you to be happy. So we're going to do everything we can. We're going to give you everything you want to make you happy. Then they get what they thought they wanted that would make them happy. And maybe it does for a little bit, but then it doesn't make them happy anymore. So then what do? We buy them, oh, this is going to make you happy. And we continue that cycle. This boils over into other areas, though. And as we grow up, look at marriages. We make these promises before God and others for better or worse, as long as we both shall live, as long as they make us happy. I mean, after all, God wants us to be happy, right? I mean, doesn't the Bible say, be happy as I am happy? No, it says, be holy as I am holy. I'm convinced God is concerned more with our holiness than he is our happiness. But this is the message that is getting put out there. I want and I deserve the things that I think will make me happy. We see it everywhere, from TV shows, commercials, social media, all telling us that we deserve or we are entitled to better and more. Better car, better phone, better clothes, all in the name of what makes us happy. And then we find ourselves wondering, why are we in a Sheryl Crow song that says, hey, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. But then it's the next line. If it makes you happy, she says, why the hell are you so sad? If it makes you happy, why are you so sad? If you got what you thought you wanted, why are you now in a place where you are so sad? And the thing is, this is not a new thing. In fact, Ecclesiastes 2, we find Solomon, a guy who the Bible says was the wisest, richest man to ever live, feeling these things. Look what he says, chapter 2 of Ecclesiastes, verse 10 and 11. Solomon says, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. That sounds like today's culture. I deny myself nothing that my eyes saw and wanted. Whatever it was I wanted, I did it. I went and got it. And then he says, my heart took delight in all my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. But get to verse 11. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. And then the wisest, richest man to have ever lived. Look what he says 6 verses later, verse 17. So I came to hate life. Why? Because everything done under the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless. Did you hear what Solomon, the wealthiest, wisest man, said? I came to the point where I hated life. Because I found that all the things that I thought would make me happy, all the things I worked for, all the things that I spent time away from my family, thinking that that's what I needed to do to provide for my family, at the end of it, I found them all meaningless. And we do the same thing, guys. We go through life trying to give ourselves everything our eyes want, or at least what we think we can afford. Why? Because, hey, you know what this culture says? The heart wants what the heart wants. And we give ourselves these things. And then at the end of the day, we find ourselves feeling empty and unsatisfied. I wonder, and I don't want you to raise your hand, how many here are feeling that emptiness? You've tried. Man, you've worked. You've tried to give yourself the things you thought you wanted. But now you feel this emptiness. I wonder how many are here looking at us being less than 2 months from closing out this year, starting a new year, are thinking, man, 2025 is not ending the way I thought it was going to end. I thought life would be different. I thought my relationships would be different. I thought my marriage would be different. I thought my kids would be different. And I'm looking at this, and it's nothing like I had hoped for. I believe there are 3 things we can learn from the life of Solomon. And I think there's 3 mindsets that we find Solomon going through that, if we're honest, we have these mindsets at times. If you're taking notes, the first one is this: I'm frustrated. Understand, I'm not talking about being frustrated every now and then. That's normal. I mean, if you got kids or if you're married, you're going to find yourself frustrated. Come on. Can I get away? Never mind. I think it's impossible to live life without some frustration. But what I'm talking about is people that live their life, spend their life, most of their time in a state of being frustrated. You go to work frustrated. You come home from work frustrated. You go to school frustrated. You come to church frustrated. You go out to dinner and a movie frustrated. And you live this life frustrated. And one of the biggest issues with that is too often that frustration comes out as anger. And those that are close to us pay the price for that anger. And you may have even said something like this: I don't know why I'm angry all the time. I don't know why I just get angry. I'm so frustrated. Solomon dealt with this. Ephesians chapter 1, starting with verse 2, he said, everything is meaningless, completely meaningless. What do people get for all their work under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. That sounds a lot like someone who is frustrated. He said, I spend all my life working. What do I have to show for it? My life just stays the same. I work, put in all the effort. I feel no one appreciates what I'm doing. And I'm frustrated. The second mindset is one that I've talked about this year. And if I'm being very honest, I still find myself dealing with this and trying to use different wording, but it's this: I'm tired. I'm tired. One study I read said that 3 out of 5 Americans now feel more tired than they ever have before. Business Weekly declared that we are the decade of fatigue. We're tired, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually spent, and it becomes a normal part of our conversation. In fact, I got to where I would say this so much, I had to start being intentional about not saying it. Whenever someone, how you doing, PK? Man, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. And I would try to dress it up. It's a good tired, though. I'm not sure there is a good tired. But I try to dress it up. It's a good tired. Yeah, I'm busy. It's a good tired. Look what Solomon said, verse 5 through 7. The sun rises, the sun sets, then it hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then north. Around and around it goes, blowing in circles. Rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. Then the water returns again to the rivers and flows out again to the sea. Let me put that in the PKV, the Pastor Kelly version. I get up, go to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Saturday, I'm trying to play catch up with things that need to be done around the house. Sunday, if I find time, I'm going to go to church. And then guess what? Monday morning, it starts all over again. And nothing ever seems to change. And Solomon says, I'm tired, I'm weary from doing the same thing day in and day out. Some of y'all feel that. Third mindset. I believe this is huge. And it's a mindset that maybe you don't openly say. You wouldn't say it out loud, but if we're honest, we deal with it, and it's this: I'm unfulfilled. What I thought would fulfill me isn't. And I don't know why. Look what Solomon says, verse 8 of chapter 1. Everything is wearisome beyond description. no matter how much we see, we are never satisfied. You see that? No matter how much we see, we are never satisfied. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. Solomon says, I'm just unfulfilled. What I thought would bring me satisfaction, what I thought would bring me feeling like I was living a meaningful life, it's not. Let's go back to the prodigal son story. If you're not familiar with this story, there are two sons, the younger one and older. This story should actually be called the Prodigal Sons. But we focus on the younger son. And here's this younger son. His ungrateful mindset is this: I want it now. I want it now. Queen sang it. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. And what? Thank you, 11:30. 8 and 9:30, they were so holy. We don't listen to that music. We don't listen to that stuff. But in the car, they're like, they raise their hands more in the car than they do in here at work. So let's move on. Anyway, I want it now. This was the youngest son. Look at Luke 15, chapter 15, verse 11 to 12. A man had two sons. The younger son told his father, I want my share of your estate now before you die. When do you normally get an inheritance? After you die, after the person dies. But the youngest son is like, I don't want to wait for you to die. I want it right now. For whatever reason, the father gives the son what he asked for. And if you're familiar with the story, you know the youngest son goes out, blows it. I mean, he blows through this money. What took the father years to accumulate, the son blows it in a matter of weeks. Saying, I want it now. Hasn't changed. We see young people. We see people, guys in their older teens, early 20s, mid 20s, that they want right now what it took their parents years to accumulate. I remember we had a young man working over at our house a couple years back. And if you don't know, if you've never been to our house, we built this house 27 years ago. Put into kids. I was in partnership with my brother Stephen with the HVAC business, and we put in this pool because we wanted our kids to have it. I grew up with a pool. And about 2 years ago, this guy was over there working, and he asked my wife, he said, how do y'all afford this? And my wife said, well, what you're looking at is two people that for 25 years worked hard, saved up, and did without on some things. See, I think this generation, they look at things their parents have. They look at things that other people have, and they want those things now, not realizing those things were earned. Those things were worked for. People sacrificed for those things. But a lot of times, here's what we want: we want something right now, rather than waiting for what we really want later. Are you following me on that? Let's move on, but I know that's the younger generation. You're not liking this, but older generation, we're not really different. We get this "I want it now" philosophy. And we're like, you know what? I don't really have the money, so I'll just charge it. I'll put it on a credit card because I deserve this now. My Papa Fuller, if you never met him, never borrowed money his whole life. I mean, when he told us that, I was like, come on, Papa, you're lying. Never borrowed money. He saved and saved and saved until he could buy his house with cash. Saved and saved until he could buy his car with cash. Because he said, you know what? I'm not going to put myself in debt to a system. I want this, but I don't have to have it now. I can wait for it. And here's the thing. We are very impatient people that do not like to wait. Let's do a survey. Anybody here say, I'm really good at waiting? I didn't think so. I didn't even want to wait for y'all to raise your hand. I'm just going to go ahead and say, you don't like, we have to wait in the drive-thru for 2 or 3 minutes to get our food. We're losing our dang minds. Come on, anybody else? You go to Walmart or go somewhere where you got to check out. What are you doing before you approach your register? Counting. How many people's there? How many people's here? Okay, this is the line. And then you get to the line that you think is going to be the quickest, and then you see this line moving, and you're like, because we don't like to wait, period. I'll say this, and I'm going to stand on this. Most of the debt and financial struggles that people find themselves in is because of this I want it now mindset. I want it now. That was the younger son's mindset. The older son had a different mindset. His mindset was this: I deserve more. The younger son wants it now. He gets it now. Goes off and blows it, finds himself out of money and out of friends, and he thinks to himself, even the servants have it better off than I do. I'm just going to go home and get a job with my dad. And so he comes back, the dad who is a picture of our Heavenly Father. He sees his son, doesn't wait for his son to get to him. He takes off in an all-out sprint to his son. He gives him a ring, a robe, throws a huge welcome party. He is like steak for everybody. Kill that fatted calf. Call in DJ Khaled. Well, never mind. That last part's not true. The other brother, in the meantime, he's having himself a party too. A pity party. Look what he says, verse 28 of Luke 15. The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him, but he replied. This is the older brother's reply. All these years I have slaved for you, never once refused to do a single thing you told me to. Let's stop there. After raising 4 kids, I call bull poopy on that. That this kid never refused one single thing his dad asked him to do. Anybody have a kid that's never told you no? Yeah, I didn't think so. But he says, I never refused anything. And all that time, you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. In other words, Dad, I deserve more than what you're doing for my brother. And we still see this played out today. I deserve a better paying job. And if I can't get a job that pays this so much, then I just won't work. I'd rather do nothing than get a job that pays. This is a conversation I've had with people. Hey, why don't you go? Well, I'm holding out for something that pays me what I feel like I'm worth. Why don't you go to work there until something that does go? Why don't you show you're faithful here? Because here's what you are. Let's be honest. You're lazy and you're entitled. And you don't want to provide for your family. Or you get out there and do whatever it took to provide for your kids, for your wife, for your family. Oh, that was good, Pastor. But it was a little harsh, but that was good. Let's be honest. I know people, listen, I grew up, I did not love every job. When I grew up, you know what, I'll tell you some of the jobs. I was I can't even think of the word now, dialysis technician. I would go in, I'd clean the whatever the things are called that the blood goes through, the filters. That was my job. Did you love it? No, I hated it. But I had a wife that I was going to provide for. I went out and mowed yards and weeded. The company I worked for, we did what's the big battery company in Duracell in Cleveland. Did you love it? I didn't love it. Did not like it. But I did it because I wanted to provide for my family. And I wasn't going to wait for something that I thought was worthy of my time. Right? Is that okay? Am I preaching? Let's go. But that's where we're at. I believe we are living in such a culture that thinks they deserve things that they never earned or worked for. I deserve these health benefits. I deserve these things right here. I deserve this car. Things that we never worked for or earned, we deserve them. And it comes down to this: I deserve to be happy. These are ungrateful mindsets that we develop. So PK, how do we rid ourselves of these ungrateful mindsets? I think it has to start with us recognizing that we have them. I think one of the most dangerous prayers you can pray, but it's a prayer that's where you start with understanding this, is Psalms 139, 23, and 24, where he said, pray this: search me, O God. Know my heart. Test me. Know my anxious thoughts. Look at this. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. We have to be honest with ourselves and say, God, show me. Where am I ungrateful at? Because here's the thing, even if it's unintentional, because I don't believe I don't think we intentionally just are ungrateful people. I believe sometimes it's unintentional that ungratefulness can come out. I think we got to start there, and I think the first prayer we're praying is this: God, expose any material or financial ungratefulness in my life. Isn't it funny how we can be blessed and still be ungrateful? Come on. Be blessed but ungrateful with what we've been given. I want you to think about the house you live in right now. Whether it's an RV, whether it's a modular home, whether it's a one-bedroom apartment, or whether it's a mansion. We'll look at those houses, you know what? I need a bigger house. Or I need more bedrooms. I need more bathrooms. Listen, we've got a kid on the way. If something doesn't change, they're going to have to share a bedroom with their sibling. And it's hard to raise a godly kid when they have to share a bathroom and bedroom. I remember sleeping in a twin bed with one of my brothers growing up. And never once did I think, look what I lack. Come on. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and be up front. This next one, I'm preaching to me. So, and I know I'm preaching to some of you. Here's our mindset. You know what? I need a bigger TV. Some of y'all that just bore witness with you right now. Somebody's like, he's prophesying now. Honey, did you hear that word from the Lord right now? No, I cannot be satisfied watching sports or the Hallmark Channel Christmas movies on anything less than an 85-inch smart TV. Hallelujah. I need a big TV to watch the Vols finally beat the Florida Gators on their home field so that I can see that my eyes are not deceiving me. So, I need it. I need a new car, a new truck. Isn't it funny how we can be so satisfied with what we've got, the car, the truck we've got, until we see, did you see so-and-so that got a new vehicle? I need a new vehicle. I need a new truck. Did you see Pastor Casey got him a Toyota? Is it Tacoma? Tundra. I don't want to get it wrong. I need something bigger and better than his. Let me ask you, what is it in your life that you are dissatisfied with right now? Have you ever walked into your closet or know someone who has? And you went through all your clothes trying to find something to wear, and then you back up, I've got nothing to wear. Come on, yeah, be honest, be honest. I've got nothing to wear. I've been on mission trips to Mexico and to China where that is not just a saying, that was a truth. I've got nothing to wear. We do Christmas Give Back every year, what we call Christmas Give Back, and you'll be hearing more about it. Where families in the church and some families out of the church that unless we stepped in, their kids would not have anything. We buy coats, we buy shoes, we buy outfits for them to wear. And yes, we buy toys because, come on, let's be honest, a kid's favorite thing to open up is not a pair of socks. But here's the truth, those kids would not have anything else to wear. And yet we look at what we've got and we don't think it's enough. I want more. I want better. I wish I had more money. I wish I had a better job. Wish I could take better vacations. Ask God to show you that part of you that has become ungrateful in these areas. The next thing we're going to ask God to show us is this. Expose any relational ungratefulness. We can become so ungrateful with the relationships that God has given us. Are you hearing me? And take them for granted. Young people, maybe you think, hey, mom and dad is all up in your business. And you just don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate how they're always asking you questions, always checking in on you. Or maybe it's a husband. And the wife is like, you know what? I wish they made more money. I wish they had a better job. I wish they could fix things around the house. And I wish, and you fill in the blank. Or maybe it's a wife. I wish she did more around the house. I wish she would cook more. I wish she had a better paying job. You fill in the blank. Or maybe, hey, you know what? I wish my friends were like their friends. I wish my kids would clean up after themselves. I wish they weren't so loud. Young people, I can tell you from experience, there will be a day when you will wish your parents were all up in your business still. And parents, there will be a day when you wish your house was still messy from children or grandchildren. You will miss it one day. So the third thing you've got to ask God to show us. Expose any circumstantial ungratefulness. Here's what I mean. Stop allowing your circumstances to determine how grateful you are. Just stop. There are things, here's the truth. There are things that are going to come your way in life that you don't like. There are circumstances, things that are going to happen to you, someone you love, to your family that you do not like. But you cannot allow those things to take your gratitude from you. Maybe you don't have the car you'd like. Maybe you really could use better, nicer clothes. Maybe you really do need a better paying job. Maybe your health isn't where you want it right now. And there's nothing wrong with wanting those things, but don't allow those things to overtake and overshadow what you do have right now. You're blessed. Compared to everywhere else in the world, you are blessed. And don't allow those things, what your wants, what you think you need, to overshadow what you do have now. Philippians chapter 3. Paul is talking to the persecuted church at Philippi. These people have every right to feel like, hey, life is just meaningless. We're going through it. And Paul is trying to get them to shift their focus off these other things. Things away from their circumstances, away from their lack of their want. And Paul begins to talk about and list his accomplishments in life. His degrees, his notoriety. Here are the things I've done. Here are the things I've attained in life. Then he gets down to verse 7, and this is his assessment of those things. Paul says, I once thought these things were valuable, but now I consider them worthless because of what Christ has done. Yes, everything else is worthless when compared with the infinite value of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord. For his sake, I have discarded everything else, counting it all as what? Say it loud, as what? Garbage. I've assessed everything that I've seen in my life. Compared to knowing Christ, it's garbage. If you've ever heard me teach on this, the Greek word that Paul uses here is skubalon. Compared to everything else, I count it all as skubalon. You know what? Now this is going to be really hard for some of you really religious people to take. Most theologians say the word that he uses there is the equivalent of our S word. You know, you might say, scuba line happens. When the scuba line hits the fan. Are you tracking with me? What Paul is doing is making a statement, a hard statement. All those things, a scuba line compared with this, knowing Christ. Knowing Christ. Then in the last chapter, in the closing remarks of chapter 4, Paul says this, I've learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. Whatever the circumstance, I've learned to be content. That word content translated literally means to be independent of external circumstances. In other words, Paul is saying, I'm not going to allow my circumstances to determine the condition of my spirit, my soul, or my mind. It's not going to ruin it for me. I've learned to be grateful if I have plenty, and I've learned to be grateful if I have nothing. I've learned to be grateful if I'm healthy. I've learned to be grateful if I'm sick. I've learned to be grateful if I have a lot of money, and I've learned to be grateful if I'm on food stamps. I've learned to be grateful if I love my job, and I've learned to be grateful if I hate my job. I've learned it. He goes on, I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want, whatever the circumstance. Can I tell you, this is not something you are born with. Paul says, I have learned. It's something you learn in life. It's something that matures in you as a child of God. Where you learn, hey, maybe I don't have everything I want, but I've got God. Maybe I wish I had this or but you know what? I do have Christ. And he says, I've learned the secret. The secret is I can do all this through him who gives me strength. It's something you learn, something that matures inside of you. In Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians, Paul is making this closing statement to the church at Thessalonica. And he kind of just reiterates what he tells the church at Philippi. He says, rejoice always, pray continually, and give thanks in what? All circumstances. If I could get the band to come on out. Give thanks in every circumstance. But Kelly, I got this doctor's report. Give thanks in all circumstances. Kelly, man, I'm really struggling right now in my relationships. Give thanks in all circumstances. How do we do that? Here's how. It's right in. You remember God's faithfulness and declare your thankfulness. That's how you do it. You remember God's faithfulness. What do you mean? I mean, maybe the next time you start to say, I'm sick of my job, maybe you say, you know what, God, thank you that I even have a job. With the workforce like it is, I'm just thankful that I'm able to work. Maybe you say, hey, the next time you say, no, I hate this sickness. I hate I'm walking this. You know what, God, I'm thankful for right now that I'm still able to get around. I'm still able to do things that I normally wouldn't do. God, instead of saying my house is always a mess, maybe you stop and say, you know what, God, I'm thankful I have friends and family that want to come over and actually be at my house. And that's why it's a mess most of the time. I'm thankful I've got kids that still want to come over, hang out, friends that want to come over. My house is too small. Maybe you stop there and say, you know what? God, I'm just thankful I have running water. God, I'm just thankful I have heat on in my house. God, I'm thankful I have electricity. God, I'm thankful, instead of saying I hate my car, God, I'm thankful I've got just something that gets me from point A to point B. Maybe it's not the best, but I'm thankful for that, what you've given me. I'm thankful. I'm going to look at one last story, and we are closing out. It's found in Luke 17, 11 through 18. It says, now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, Jesus, Master, have pity on us. When Jesus saw them, he said, go show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. And Jesus asked, hey, were not all 10 of you cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner? When I would read over that, I was like, why did he word it like that? No one's come out to give me praise except, why didn't he just say, hey, has no one come back to praise me except you? But then you look at what that Greek word there that gets used as foreigner, and I'm probably mispronouncing this, but alagenes. It means sprung from another tribe or another race. And that's why the verse before that tells us he was a Samaritan. If he is making it a point to point out that this one man was a Samaritan, a foreigner, I think we can assume that the other 9 must have been Jewish. What does that matter? Well, the Jewish people had heard their whole life, you're the chosen ones. You're God's kid. And they would have grew up with this mind, I deserve to be healed. The Samaritan probably grew up his whole life being told you're a half-breed. You're less than. He had no expectations of Jesus doing anything for him. So when something happened to him that was undeserved, that he couldn't earn, his first response was gratitude. I hate to break it to you, but you did nothing to earn your salvation. You say, well, Kelly, I'm a good person. Listen, no, you're not. Can I tell you, there are no good people. They're just people that have accepted God's grace in their life and that God has made alive again. You did nothing to earn it. And I cannot remember who the old preacher, Jonathan Edwards, says this. You did nothing for your salvation. You contribute nothing to your salvation except for the sin that you made it have to be. Your sin, that's all you contributed to your salvation that made it necessary. So here's what I got to ask you. What mindset are you going to leave here with today? A mindset of, I want it now, I deserve more? Or a mindset of, you know what, God, maybe I don't have everything I want, but I've got you. You've given me things I don't deserve. You pour grace upon me when I know I don't deserve it. Your mercy, man, I tell you, let me be honest. When it says his mercies are new every morning, I'm thankful for that scripture. You know why? Because I use up yesterday's mercy every day, and I need a new batch every morning. I'm thankful for that. So where are you going to be? Stand with me across this room.